and it's a pleasure to have you join us to gather online for financial literacy education. I hope you're looking forward to it. My name is Kofo Odunton, and I'm your host for today. Now, we have several people that will be taking you through today's event, but I'm your main host for today. I look after the corporate responsibility group here at FMDQ. My colleague will later tell you more about FMDQ. And that's essentially where the FMDQ Next program is hosted. It's our flagship corporate responsibility program. And it's essentially trying to educate the next generation on the financial markets and provide financial literacy, knowledge, and awareness on the financial markets. We cater to primary school, secondary, university students, and fresh graduates. So this is the very first time, this month we launched the virtual series. And we're just like, okay, COVID is not stopping us. We're going to continue empowering the next generation on the financial market. As you all know, the theme of the program is the Money Genius. And essentially what we plan to do is to get you guys understanding how the financial market works, as well as, how to grow your money, how to invest, not just save, but start investing the monies that you have, and the right attitudes that are required for wealth creation. So that's really what you're going to learn today. It's a 2-hour session. We have a lot packed for today's session. And it's going to be very exciting. And I'm just going to run through the agenda very quickly so you know what's in store for us today. We're going to have an icebreaker session just to kind of get to see who you are, get to know who's on the webinar. And some of you, I'll just pick some of you randomly, and you can just introduce yourselves so we get to know you. After that, we're going to have 3 teaching sessions, very short, so nothing to worry about. The first teaching session is going to be my colleague Uzo Amaka, who looks after the marketing group at FMDQ. She would be taking that session. So Uzo Amaka, do you want to say hello to the guys? Yes, that's Uzo. She'll be talking you through FMDQ, what we do at FMDQ, savings and investments, and just briefly letting you know about investments and how to save, etc. Next, we'll have a quiz session. We're going to have 2 quizzes today. We'll have a quiz session. You have 5 minutes. We're going to be dropping, I'll give you the rules actually. We'll drop the link where you can access the quiz. It will take you out of Zoom, but just make sure you do not close Zoom, please. Then we'll have our second teaching segment, which would be taken by my colleague Segun Akintoye, who looks after Clearing Operations Group. Segun, do you want to say hello so people can recognize you? Yes, hi, that's Segun.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi. Hi,
yes.
guys. Nice of you to join us.
Thank you. So Segun will be going deeper into financial markets and, the different investment vehicles that we have available. After his session as well, there will be another quiz on the session that just ended. After that, again, you have 5 minutes. It takes you out of Zoom. So please be mindful not to close Zoom, fill out the questions, and then come back into Zoom. But I'll update you on timing, etc. After the quiz, we will have a break. So you can take a loo break. We have a physical event, or, my colleague Kelechi would engage you during the break session. Kelechi, do you want to say hello so they know who's going to be taking that segment? Yes, so that's Kelechi. So she works with me in the corporate responsibility group.
Everyone.
So yeah, she will be taking you through that segment. Then the final teaching session on attitudes for wealth creation, then we will take your questions at that point. Because we want to keep it very quick and keep it within 2 hours, we can't take the questions all at once, but use the chat box and send your questions in, and and we'll take you from there. So don't forget. After the Q&A, you'll be privileged to meet our Group Chief Operating Officer, the GCOO. She's passionate about the youth. She's passionate about financial markets, and she cannot wait to meet you guys. So that'll be a really cool session. You can ask her different questions and engage. Yeah, and then we'll wrap up essentially. So taking you quickly, let me tell you the rules of the game, rules of today rather. Just Q&A, any questions you have as we go along, please put the questions in the chat box. If you're struggling with anything, if you have issues with the link for the quiz, let us know and we'll help you. At least we'll be aware, but you can try and just make sure your internet connection is good. You will be muted, and please keep your mics muted and your cameras off, please, until, you know, I say turn on your cameras so that it's the whole program works and it's more seamless and there are no distractions, please. And yeah, so cameras off and be muted, your mics muted. As I mentioned earlier, the quiz will be dropped in the chat box. So as soon as I say check the chat box for the link for the quiz, please do that. Yeah, and do not close Zoom, it's very important. We will require pen and paper shortly, so please get that. I hope you have that with you right now. And yes, so let's get ready for a fun day today. So we're gonna have an icebreaker session now. And can we have your cameras on? You can stay muted. The icebreaker session, essentially, I want you guys to write your names down and write one thing that's interesting about you or makes you unique, or, you know, an interest that you have, or just something. So your name, so we can see who's available and or who's on the call. And then, yeah, and one thing that's interesting about you. So hopefully can you turn your cameras on so I can see some of you? Can't see anybody just yet, but okay, I can see Yahaya. Hello. Can everyone please turn on their cameras? I can only see Yahaya. Is everybody else? I can see Kumbi, but I think I can see a clock. We just have a few minutes, and I just want everyone to write their names down and put it on the screen so that we know who's on the call. And, you know, I'll just quickly spotlight somebody and you can just introduce yourself. And I can't go around. We have about 53 people on the call, so. I'm still waiting, guys. Do you want to turn on your cameras? And let me know if you're struggling or if you're unable to turn on your camera. You can use the chat room as well. Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you. Guys, so remember, lovely to meet you. Forgive me if I get the pronunciation of some of your names wrong. I can see Nyoreme. Is that how it's pronounced? Nyoreme. Nice to meet you, Nitochuku. Lovely to meet you. Can everyone else please turn on their cameras? Wow, we're about 65. Great. Okay, some guys they're saying their cameras, they don't have access to turn on their camera. Guys in the background, please help assist us with turning the cameras on. Tommy, are you able to turn on your camera? I can see Sarah Etta, Tega. Lovely to meet you guys. We're excited to have the Waterman on board today. Really excited. We'd really love to see some of you. It's just for this segment, and then we can turn off our cameras and we can get on with it. But I'd like to, it'll be nice. So have you written your names and on your paper, on a piece of paper, and put one thing that's interesting about you? The guys with the cameras on, I'm gonna spotlight you. So you can just tell us something that's interesting about you or makes you unique or, you know, different to everyone, or whether it's interests you may have, unique interests. Or hi, Adara and Astahon. Nice to meet you guys. Michelle, Chukwemeka, lovely to have you on board. Olua Bukola, lovely to have you here. Okay, so I guess some of the guys that are here, we can just go on. So, Michelle, do you want to unmute your mic and tell us something interesting about you? Just to introduce, do you all know each other? Michelle, do you want to take your mic off? Or mute your mic, please. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Pleasure to have you on with us today. So, do you all know each other? Can you see your classmates? Or you know some people?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, do you want to tell us one thing that makes you special, unique, different, or interests? Just to even give us an idea who you are, or give us some insight into who Michelle is.
One of my interests is to draw, I guess.
Okay. What types of drawings?
Digital drawing,
Oh,
like
excellent.
semi-realistic, that kind of thing.
Oh, excellent. That's a great skill to have. Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Netochukwu? Hi, Netochukwu. Adjust your laptop because I can just see your glasses. I can't see anything else. Yes. Lovely to meet you. Okay. So one interesting thing about yourself, please.
Oh, I draw.
You draw as well?
Yeah, and I dance.
And you dance. Great. Wonderful. Nice. Chukwuemeka? I think you're one of the first to actually join this session. So Chukwuemeka Mba, I think. Am I getting your surname right? Yeah. Do you want to tell us something interesting about yourself?
No, I'm fine.
Is there something different? Do you have unique interests? Anything that your colleagues don't know about, or no?
No.
Do you have any extracurricular activities at school?
No.
Okay, interesting. All right. In your Reme, and we'll get on with it. In your Reme will be our last participant. Do you want
to play golf.
Oh, nice. Very interesting. A very mature sport. Interesting. Very interesting. Golf. Excellent. Do you get exposed to that at school at all? Because I know that your school has a lot of, different activities, sporting. No, so this is okay. All right. Thank you very much, guys. At least we got to meet some of you. We're going to move straight into the next segment, but lovely to meet you. We'll have another segment later where there's a bit more activity, right? So if you all turn off your cameras now and we go into our main segment. Thank you. So I'll just wait for you, and if you mute your mics. Yeah. I'm just waiting for some of you to turn off your cameras, and then we'll go right into the next segment. All right. Okay, so I'm going to introduce my colleague, Uzoamaka, who is going to take you through the next segment. Remember, we met her earlier. She's going to take you through the next segment she's going to tell you about FMDQ Group and money. She's going to talk about money, savings, and investment. So, Uzoamaka, do you want to come up quickly before I sign off? Well, I'm going to be sharing. Great. So I'm just going to share my screen so that everyone can see. Let me know if you can see my screen okay. Great.
Okay, thank you very much, Kofo. Good introduction, and it promises to be an interesting day. Quite a few participants already. I think we have well over 60. So I hope everyone can hear me. Hello, everyone, and good morning again. We definitely love to have you here. So I'll just tell you a bit about FMDQ and the role that we play, what we basically do, and what drives us. Okay, so FMDQ Group. FMDQ is your one-stop, shop, if you like, where you can basically start and end all your transactions in the financial market. We'll bring it down. So we'll try to break it down a bit for you. So remember what I said is your one-stop shop where you can start and end all your financial market transactions in the all your transactions in the financial market. So let us liken it to, say, a supermarket, for instance. You work into a supermarket, or you wake up on a regular day, you want to make some breakfast, you don't have anything, and then you decide, oh, I'm going to go to the shop, then buy some bread, buy some maybe eggs, buy butter, take it home, make breakfast, XYZ. So you've defined the process you're going to go through to have breakfast that day. But then you get to the shop and you find that, well, you can buy your bread, you can buy your butter, you can probably buy some eggs as well. But there is also a corner in the shop where you can pretty much have this made, for you. In fact, you can just, hand it over and somebody makes them into a toast for you. Somebody makes them into a very nice sandwich for you. When somebody clears your table, you just get up, go to the till, pay, and you go. So that's like you're going about, your daily business. So what this means is you do not have to go home to think about, making breakfast all over again, washing the dishes thereafter, storing what is left, XYZ. So that's kind of like what FMDQ does in the financial markets through its subsidiary companies, which I'll shortly tell you about. So you have that one shop where you can come into, which is FMDQ Group. You can trade. By trading, we mean you can buy and sell securities. We'll be telling you a lot more about these terms as we go, so don't worry. And if you have questions, please pop them into the chat box. So you can pretty much come in, buy and sell securities, have them transferred, the next stage, have them transferred to the owner. Okay, let's take the subsidiaries one after the other. So when you come to FMDQ Group, there is FMDQ Securities Exchange, okay? FMDQ Securities Exchange. So at FMDQ Securities Exchange, you're able to buy and sell securities. That's what we refer to as trading. Those who want to sell, those who want to buy can have all those transactions happen and more. You can get data for all of those trading that you've done. And then you move to the next company, which is FMDQ Clear. Now at FMDQ Clear, those trades, those transactions that you have done in FMDQ Securities Exchange flow into FMDQ Clear, and then they are merged, they are sorted, we check who doesn't have money, who has money to pay. And what we mean typically is, assuming you have Peter and Nkiru who traded on FMDQ Exchange, they bought and sold. When you come to FMDQ Clear, that is where we check who bought, who sold. So all the securities Nkiru bought are transferred to her. All the securities, Peter sold are taken from him. So all that happens at FMDQ Clear. You see the transition. So from FMDQ Securities Exchange, you go to FMDQ Clear Limited. And then next is FMDQ Depository. So at FMDQ Depository, what happens is all the securities that you have, that you hold, it provides what you call a safe house. It provides what you call a safe house for you to, basically store all those securities. So you started off from FMDQ Securities Exchange, where you bought and sold. You moved to FMDQ Clear, where all those were settled and delivered. You moved to Depository, where you can have a safe house where those securities can be kept and managed. We call it serviced. They can be serviced for you. When you buy or sell, we'll be reducing the unit. Remember, these securities are not physical. So you're not holding them physically. They are basically, kept electronically for you. So FMDQ Depository helps to service that on your behalf. So those three companies string together make FMDQ what is called a financial market infrastructure group. So when I say FMDQ is your one-stop shop, that is what I mean. So we provide FMDQ Securities Exchange, FMDQ Clear, and FMDQ Depository, where you can basically start and end all your transactions in the market. Interesting thing is it doesn't end there. As a forward-thinking organization, what we have done is, also look to providing for the smaller companies. So, my name is Uzor Amaka, like Kofo had introduced in the beginning. So assuming you had an Uzor & Co company or an Uzor Incorporated company who is not so big, I'm growing, I'm trying to expand my business operations, and I'm trying to source capital. I'm a private company, just limited, by funds, limited by shareholders, XYZ. Now, FMDQ then moved a step further to FMDQ to organize and establish FMDQ private markets. Okay, so that is the, what you can see. We've gone from FMDQ Securities Exchange, which is the FMDQ Exchange in short, to FMDQ Clear, to Depository, and now there is FMDQ private markets, which is where those companies, like I said, the smaller companies, the medium, and even large corporations can come to raise private capital for their businesses, okay? And then there is another company, which is the fifth one, that helps us to still add value to the market, called IQX Consult. So IQX Consult focuses on technology innovations. I'm sure if I asked by show of hands, who knows about Bitcoins, who has heard about Bitcoins, who has heard about some of those new technology reforms that are coming up, I'm sure some of you would put your hands up to say, yes, I have. I don't really know much about it. So what IQX Consult does is look into those innovations, come back and, deploy systems, deploy technology that would benefit the markets based on the back of those new innovations, okay? So that is FMDQ Group in a nutshell. The one-stop shop where you can pretty much start and end all your transactions in the same place, really. So now when you look at, again, every company has what is driving it. So if I ask some of you today, maybe some of you want to be, say, maybe a lawyer. And when I say, what is your plan in 5 years? You tell me you want to be a lawyer. So that is your long-term vision. You want to be a lawyer. So FMDQ also has what it is aspiring to be, and that is called our vision. Okay, and our vision is to be the leading African builder of ecosystems of financial infrastructure and services for markets. Everyone is driven by their dreams, the aspirations, where they are going to. Now, when you have your aspirations, you want to be a medical doctor in 5 years' time. And then you're going to think back, for me to be a medical doctor, what do I need to start doing now? I need to pay attention in school and then need to graduate, go to uni. That is your mission, how you're going to get to your dream of being a medical doctor. So at FMDQ as well, we have our mission, which is to collaborate. We work together with all our stakeholders to empower the Nigerian financial market for economic progress towards delivering prosperity. So you have your vision, you have your mission, and then you have principles that would drive you, to achieve those, which are your core values, essentially. So remember I said you want to be a lawyer, and then that is your long-term vision. Your mission is how you're going to get there. And then your core values are essentially those principles that are, are going to guide you to get there. So when you get to uni, you have to stay away from drugs. You have to, make sure you're in class X, Y. So those are the principles, and that they are called core values. So at FMDQ, we have 4 core values that also drive and shape our activities. So you have the teamwork and collaboration. We have value adding in everything we do. We want to exceed your expectations. That is adding value. We have integrity. We want whatever we say to be credible. If I tell you, we're going to do this at this. That is what you want to believe in. And then, of course, innovation. Okay, so that in a nutshell is about FMDQ Group, your one-stop financial market infrastructure group, or your one-stop shop, where you can begin and end all your transactions in the financial market. So we'll move on to, please, if you have questions, put them in the chat box, and would, pick up on these and have them answered, okay? We would then ensure that we treat all of them. So looking inwards, what is money? So we're going to talk a bit about money. We're going to talk about savings. We're going to talk about investments. You're all in college now, and I'm sure you've all, a couple of you would have started saving. You've started receiving money. You are probably exchanging money for different things you're buying and all of those things. So what is money really? Money has been with us for a very, very long time, long before we're all born. And it started from way back where people were exchanging goods and services. So Kambili and Peter. Kambili has ice cream. Peter has a soda. Kambili wants ice cream. Peter wants Kambili's soda. Kambili's ice cream. Kambili wants Peter's soda. And then they agree to swap it. So that process of swapping, take what you want, I take what I want, is called trade by barter. And it's pretty much even prevalent, even in our everyday lives. We still do it, in school. You want this, your friend has that, and you guys swap. Okay, so that has been with us for a very long time. Then we quickly transitioned to cowrie, which, are those ancient, if you like, special Asian cowries and things that were used way in advance. So when people moved away from goods and services, which you would agree are perishable, they then moved to cowries, which are less perishable. They just last long. Of course, it wasn't long before technology advancements moved us again into, metals. So we started to see coins, and very quickly we moved to paper money. I'm sure if I asked how many denominations we have today, everyone would, pretty much just pop answers into the chat box. So let's see you go for it. How many paper denominations of money do we have in Nigeria today? Let's see, fastest fingers on the chat box. Let's see. And so basically that is it. And it doesn't end there. Who knows, tomorrow we could probably be moving into some other form of money. Some technology could move us away from transferring paper as money, and we could find ourselves, it's already here. We have Bitcoins, those digital assets. So it keeps progressing, it keeps evolving, essentially. Now, when you look at money itself, what does it mean to you as a person? When we've looked at the evolution of money, you would see that the first thing is that it is an acceptable means of exchange. So you use it in exchange for goods, you use it in exchange for services. So it is an acceptable means of exchange. That is the money you use every day. And when you look at the basic functions, one is your medium of exchange, like we said, even from the very beginning when we talked about barter system, up to cowries, metals, and then paper money. You're exchanging something for another. So it's your medium of exchange, okay? The second thing you can think of when you're looking at the functions of money is it's your unit of account. When you look at Uzo today, when you come to school, you can say, oh, today I'm worth 10,000 naira. Maybe I think through all the money that I have put away somewhere, everything, and I'm like, I'm worth 10,000 naira today. And I'm sure some of you have heard it. Oh, Uzo is the richest woman. Uzo is the this. Essentially, that is your unit of account. You're using it to express worth, okay? And then there is the store of value. So when you look at the fact that you can pretty much put it away in exchange for goods and services later. So you have your piggy bank and you're putting money away. You're saving it, you continue to put it away because you want to use it in exchange for things later that is what you mean by store of value. So you're basically storing up value, through it. So money performs those three basic functions, okay? So when you look at the fact that we all transact with money, we all exchange hands with money, what are the key things that we're encouraging you to do, going forward? Here are two of them: savings, investment. So when you have money, it's not just enough to have this money tucked away in your piggy bank. We're saying you can start to put this money into two different things, basically, savings and investment. So what is savings? I'm sure a couple of us here are already, saving money. A couple of us here are basically have piggy banks, or we have, we
buy stocks.
I'm sorry? Okay, I'm sorry. I think somebody maybe came up. Please, can you mute your mics if that is on, so you're not interrupting the class? But please put your questions down in the chat box, and we're definitely going to take this when sure everything is answered and you understand it fully, okay? So back to the concept of savings. Like I was saying, a couple of us have our piggy banks. We earn money for, doing chores around the house. We earn maybe some form of allowance. We get gifts that are in paper money, or, some form, as the case may be. Now, when you put those monies away, it is called savings. You're basically putting it away, little by little, little by little. You don't really have any risk being posed to you. I mean, your risk is low. The risk that the money would go away, except by maybe an act of God or an accident or so, is really low. So you basically start to put that money away. Now, when you take that money and put it in, say, a financial institution, you start to earn things like interest. And that is the concept of saving. Money that you are putting away, you do not intend to use now, but you're putting it away towards, it could be a later goal or something. So that is your saving. Now, when you save money and you use that money, to go into some other activity or some other venture, as the case may be, for you, for the purpose of earning even more money on it, then you can be said to be investing. So that is the key difference. With savings, you're putting money aside, you're just aspiring, oh, I want to buy a PS4, oh, I want to buy the latest Sony headphones, and you're putting money away. So you're saving it essentially. It could be in a financial institution, say a bank, but with investment, the money that you've saved, you then put it in either investment accounts or you put it in investment vehicles, that are in the financial market, which my colleague will be speaking more of. We'll touch on it. So when you put the money you're saving into different kinds of accounts in the bank, for instance, you have your current account, you have your savings account, there are fixed deposits accounts, and a couple of others really within the institution where you can put your money in and earn some form of interest for, saving that money with the bank. So there are various ways you can put your money, the money that you've saved, but the most important thing is to move quickly from putting the money together and, getting to the point where you're earning money on your money. You're basically building the money to grow, for something you want to do, if you like, much later. So move very, very quickly. Like I said, you can put your money in different accounts. Then you can also, look at other investment vehicles, okay? And that is where the financial market comes into play. So you find that beyond your traditional banks where you put your money in savings accounts, you put your money in fixed deposit, and you're earning some form of interest, you can now, you are able to access other investment, products in the financial market. And my colleague would be speaking, providing more insights on it. There are a few vehicles, and here are some of them. You have stocks, which some of you will know as shares. There are treasury bills, you have exchange traded funds, you have fixed deposits, you have bonds, you have mutual funds, and real estate products that you can put your money in. So there are a myriad of options for you, and you find that beyond just saving your money, you can now start to invest it. You can start to build your money towards a goal that you're trying to achieve. And that is what we're trying to encourage you, to look, we're trying to encourage you to pick up, today. So even if you do not remember anything, ensure that you're in tune with the vehicles that you're going to invest your money in, because that is what you're going to carry on. So I hope, that I have been able to pass this across to you. Please feel free to put all your questions, like I said, in the chat box. If you have questions on money, if you have questions on savings, investments, please put them in the chat box and we would come back to you on it. So with this, I believe the session is over. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Kofo to introduce the very next segment to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yuzi. Uzomaka. We go by initials at FMDQ, so thank you very much for the segment, guys. Okay, so we're going into the next segment, which is a quiz. So I hope you paid attention. I'm sure some of you may have found that basic, which is okay. We want to make sure that you understand properly what we're talking about, and it's going to be graduated. So the next segment will go deeper into the financial markets. So for some of you that are like, this is money, I already know this. I'm sure some of you do. So in the quiz, basically the next 5 minutes, it's going to be for 5 minutes. I'm sure, you guys will be able to answer the questions easily. The link will be dropped in the box and it's timed. Please remember that once you click on that link to access the quiz, it opens up into a new page. Make sure you do not close Zoom so that you can come back to the program. You would hear the sound and you still hear me speak, but please make sure you do not close Zoom. So can you please drop the link now? So let's just drop the link now for everyone to access. You have 5 minutes and I'll do a countdown when your time is near elapsing. I'll do a countdown. Use the chat box. So check the chat box for the link, as I said. And we have 5 minutes. If you have any challenges with the link, let us know, but you should see the link now, but your 5 minutes starts now. As I said, please let us know if you have any issues and we'll try to address them as quickly as possible. Once the quiz is done, we will collate all answers and we will let you know at a later time the results for the quiz. I hope all of you have accessed the quiz and have started the quiz. Remember, there will be prizes. Remember, there will be prizes. Guys, please take the quiz. We're still expecting you guys to open up and take the quiz. We can see that some of you, most of you actually have not started the quiz. So please click on the link. If you're having issues with the link, let us know, put it in the chat box, but we've put the link in the chat box for you to take the quiz. So please participate. And this is just to test your learning on what we just did. We have exciting prizes for the people that come top on the quiz. And this is the first one. As I said, we will have another quiz taking place after the next session, which will go deeper into the financial market investment vehicles. And as this is Day Waterman College, we expect a lot from you guys, actually. 1 minute. 1 minute to go. Thirty seconds to go. I'm sure you're rounding up now. Once you're done with the quiz, please submit. Please submit. All right, great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you were all able to access the quiz and found it straightforward. I'm going to move into the next segment quickly, and I'll bring back my colleague, Segun Akintoye, who's going to take you on the introduction to financial markets. So Segun, do you want to come up?
Hello, guys.
Remember to mute your mics, please. Thank you. Welcome, Segun. Over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kofu. And guys, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's good to see the kind of turnaround we're having on this platform today. Very impressive, and I hear that you're all from one school. So very good. I'll be taking you through financial markets, and we'll start with the financial system. We'll talk about what the financial system entails. Then we'll talk about the financial markets, players in the financial markets, the aspects, different aspects of the financial market, the primary market, the secondary market, capital, money markets. Then we touch on the investments. We take it up from where Uzamaka stopped in terms of investments in the financial market, and then give you more perspective to the options that are out there. Then I have a little challenge for you at the end of the session, just to pick your interest and get you going in this journey called the financial markets. All right, starting it up. What is a financial system? In every country in the world, there is a financial system, and the financial system largely entails the financial market, financial intermediaries, and financial instruments or products. What does this really mean? It's a platform where different markets for different products exist, and there are different players in those markets. Now, it's a platform as well where those with excess funds, typically lenders and savers, and those with scarce resources, typically borrowers and spenders, come on that platform to transfer wealth, to transfer funds, or to raise capital. Now, who do we call lenders and savers? In this category, largely those that are raising money, those that are trying to raise funds in the market to meet, or rather, and savers are those that have surplus funds, my apologies, surplus funds, and they are looking for avenues to deploy those resources. And typically you will have the entire value chain of households, individuals, businesses, governments, local and foreign players, corporate entities you would have in that space. Then borrowers and spenders are those entities that are in need of this fund, they are in need of capital, they are in need of resources, or they need, simply put, they need money. And here as well, you find the entire gamut of parastatals, entities, governments, household as well. Typically, any person that needs money at any point in time will play in this market, in this system, in the financial system at one point or the other. Now, one major aspect of the financial ecosystem is financial markets, and is a marketplace for buyers and sellers. And putting it in another perspective, maybe we should first talk about your traditional markets that you are aware of. Now, what does this entail? If any of you have gone out with your parents to any typical market, what you tend to see is, you see buyers and sellers. Buyers like yourself that have come to the market to buy one item or the other, or sellers that have one product or the other to sell. Similar to that market, similar to your fiscal traditional market, is what you have in the financial market space as well. It's a marketplace where buyers and sellers meet to transact financial transactions or financial deals. And the products here can range from stocks to bonds, foreign currencies that Uzomaka touched on earlier, and derivatives. Derivatives here will speak to transactions that have, derivatives will largely speak to financial market instruments that derive their value from the underlying instruments. So I can have a derivatives of bond, or a derivatives of stocks, or derivatives of currencies, or even derivatives of the weather. It can be anything. And it's typically used to hedge or manage risk. Now, how does the financial market work? If I'm in need, so let me give you an example. If I'm in need of, let's say I want to establish a car wash business. So I expect customers to bring their cars to be cleaned, and then they pay me for my service. If the car wash business, setting up the car wash business is going to cost 100,000 Naira, and I do not have this, and say I have just 50,000 Naira, what are the options available to me? I then go to meet my relatives, my friends, my colleagues, and say, okay, please, I need additional 50,000 Naira to set up this business. But guess what? The feedback I then receive is, hey, I can only raise you, say, 5,000, another person says another 3,000, and the last person says 2,000. So that takes me to 10,000 Naira raised from friends, colleagues, and family. Now, taking the total capital I've raised, or the total funds I've raised for this business, to 60,000 Naira. However, I need to get to 100,000. So that means that I need to find a way to raise additional funds to meet the 100,000 Naira balance, and to meet the 100,000 Naira total amount. In other words, I need to raise 40,000 Naira from any means possible. What options are available to me? I can go to a bank to borrow the money, or I can come to the financial markets and raise capital from the players in the market. From that perspective, I'm a borrower. I might come to the market to borrow, or I might come to the market to raise equity, to raise shares in my business, to raise equity in my business rather. So in that perspective, I'm either a borrower, or I'm a corporate entity coming to raise funds. The parties that lend me money in the financial markets are then what? Are who we call lenders, or typically it can even be those of you that have saved money and you've decided, hey, I want to take the risk on Segun and give him money to start up this business because I believe the business is sound and he has the capability to manage the business well. So you have who, and then you can pass me your savings to invest in the business, or you can lend me your savings depending on the kind of financial market transaction we're talking about. Now, typically in the market, and we'll get to that in full detail, what then happens is that when you give me your money, I then give you a document. This document then becomes the instrument. It can either be equities or it can be, what's the name? It can be bonds or T-bills or whatever kind of instrument we've structured or whatever kind of instrument we've packaged for that transaction. So largely financial markets creates an avenue for moving funds from the point of where it is in excess to the point where it is in demand, where it's scarce. So that's what the financial market is all about. Now, you can categorize the financial market in two aspects, from two perspectives. One is to look at the underlying product that is being sold in that market and determine whether it is longer than 1 year or it's less than 1 year. Typically, this is the definition of capital and money market. In capital markets, the instruments being traded, the instrument being bought and sold is longer than 1 year. In the money market, you have instruments that are less than 1 year. And that is what we refer to as tenor. So I give you an example. So say Chukwuemeka and Sarah are to enter into a transaction within the financial market. So if Sarah is in need of, say, ₦1 million, and Chukwuemeka has an excess of 100 naira that is willing to part with or is willing to invest, Sarah can then prepare a document in favor of Chukwuemeka saying, I want to take a loan from you. I'll use a loan as an example. I want to take a loan from you via an instrument called a commercial paper, which has a tenor of, say, 270 days. Because it is less than 1 year, we tend to say that instrument or that transaction is a money market transaction. So those kind of transactions will typically happen in the money market. So you go there and buy instruments that are less than 1 year at the date of issuance. In the capital market, you'll be talking longer term. So if Sarah were to say, hey, Chukwuemeka, I don't need it for 270 days. Instead, I need it for, say, 5 years. From that perspective, then we'll be talking about potentially a bond instrument that is going to be in the capital market. So largely, those are the differentiating factors between capital and money markets as a category in the financial market. Another category in the financial markets that we tend to look at is primary markets and secondary market. In my example between Sarah and Chukwuemeka, what you tend to see is that the point at which Sarah is raising those funds from Chukwuemeka, that activity is a primary market activity. That is the original point where monies are then raised for the first time, and the instrument is then transferred to the party is a primary market activity. So, in other words, the moment Sarah gives Chukwuemeka this document I'm holding, and then Chukwuemeka parts with his money, that we say is a primary market activity. We then go to the secondary market where Chukwuemeka initially said he doesn't need the money within the tenor of the paper, but then realizes, hey, he has forgotten that he needs to pay he needs to buy the latest iPhone. Then, so 50 days before the maturity of the paper, he then decides he needs his money back, but Sarah agreed with him that she was going to return the money in 9 months from now, 270 days time. So Sarah says, hey, I'm not ready to part with your money now. However, Chukwuemeka can then explore the financial market and then sell that instrument, sell the loan he has taken from Sarah to another investor or another saver or another lender, and then receives cash. So in other words, in the secondary market, the original transaction executed, the original instrument issued in the primary market is then traded from one party to another party, from the original party to another, to a new investor. So that is how the primary market works and the secondary market works. Primary market, original investment between the issuer, in this case Sarah, or the borrower, and with the original lender, in this case Chukwuemeka, and who happens to be the lender or the party with the surplus funds. In the secondary market, the original investor, Chukwuemeka, is then moving the money, is then moving the instrument or selling the instrument, I beg your pardon, to Toluwalashe, who is now buying the instrument from Chukwuemeka. However, note, Chukwuemeka then leaves that picture and then becomes the holder of the instrument, and Toluwalashe becomes the holder of the instrument, and Toluwalashe is the party that will reach out to Sarah at the expiration of the 9 months period to collect value, to return the instrument and collect his cash, or present the instrument rather, the commercial paper document, and then collect his money plus interest income. Please feel free to drop questions, clarifications that you may need on any of the points that have been discussed in the chat box. Now, let's talk about other common investment vehicles or financial market instruments or products that you may come across. So let's talk about stocks. In my example about the car wash business, I mentioned that I could issue equities to another party. And this is what you call stocks, equities, shares. They all mean the same thing in the financial market. They mean the same, they're absolutely the same. Now, from this perspective, you are then, what stocks is speaking to is your unit of ownership. It's that instrument that reflects your unit of ownership in a corporate entity or in a business franchise. So I give you an example that you can familiarize yourself with, or you are familiar with. I give you an example of Zenith Bank, for instance, or Dangote Cement. These are corporate entities in which you can buy their shares, you can own a portion of in the financial market. So you can go on an exchange and then buy the shares of Zenith or buy the equities of Dangote Cement or Forte Oil. You just name it, any corporate entity that is public and their shares are actively traded. Now, from this example I'm giving you, it means you're participating in the capital market because equities have tenors longer than 1 year. In actual fact, equities have no tenors whatsoever. They exist in perpetuity as long as the corporate entity continues to run as a business, continues to run as a going concern, or simply put, they remain in existence. So you continue to own the shares of that company as long as that company exists. Then because you're going to buy from another investor that initially invested in that company, we say that you're buying in the secondary market. However, in my example of me setting up a new business, if you're giving me your money and I issue shares to you, it means you're participating in the capital market, however, in the primary segment of the capital market, where I'm raising funds afresh and you're investing in a new company. So I give you another example. Say you're investing in Tesla. If you buy the shares of Tesla today, you're participating in the capital market, albeit in the secondary market segment. But if you were one of the original investors in Tesla, when Tesla was raising funds for the first time, you are then participating in the capital market, but then you are playing in the primary market segment of the capital market. Now, for bonds will speak to raising debt instruments, or a lender is giving his money to a borrower for tenors longer than 1 year. In Nigeria, we have bonds. The federal government of Nigeria bonds range from 2 years to as much as 30 years. Please, the prior slide. Okay, so they range from 2 to as much as 30 years, and you can trade the bonds in FMDQ on the FMDQ Securities Exchange at any point in time, and you will then get the bonds into your portfolio and part with cash. Let's talk about treasury bills a bit. Treasury bills are similar to bonds. The only difference is that treasury bills are similar to bonds from the perspective that they are both debt instruments. However, treasury bills are different because they are short-term borrowing of sovereign governments across the world. So you only see treasury bills to be issued by sovereign entities. But bonds can be corporate, they can be sovereign, they can be from governments, corporate entities, foreign entities like World Bank, multilateral entities like World Bank, IFC, International Finance Corporation, African Development Bank, entities like such. Everyone can issue a bond. Every entity can issue a bond except an individual. Treasury bills can only be issued by governments, particularly sovereign or federal governments. Now, then we talk about real estate. Real estate will speak to ownership in fiscal assets, fiscal properties, like a house, an office building, even fiscal structures or fiscal properties like a road. So some of you will be familiar with the Lekki Expressway that was, I think, initially a project that was owned by Lekki Concession Company. So things like that will fall under real estate, where there are fiscal assets, fiscal underlying underlying assets supporting that investment. Now, fixed deposit will entail you taking your money to the bank and committing to place the money with the bank for a period of time, typically about 30 to 90 days, but you can have it up to 1 year. And then the bank promises to pay you an interest amount of, say, 2% or 5%. And it's a little bit different from your savings account, because fixed deposit, you're committing for a particular period of time. So that means that within the date you give the bank your money, and the expiration date of that fixed deposit, you will not have access or recourse to that fixed deposit. There's usually a clause that says if you decide to liquidate or you decide to collect your money back before the maturity date of that agreement with the bank or that fixed deposit instrument with the bank, then there is a penalty. So typically you will not have access to those funds. The funds are locked for the period of time. Then you have mutual funds. Mutual funds are a pool of investments vehicles managed by an investment manager that invests those monies collected from the investors in a predefined set of investments, say money market investments or capital market investments, either bonds, T-bills, corporate bonds, and investments as such. So at the end of the day, the fund manager then decides to, at the end of each year or a particular period, the fund manager aggregates all the income on the fund and distributes to the original investors less a fee, less a token fee for the services provided by the fund manager. Then we have exchange traded funds. They are like mutual funds, but they are traded on the stock exchange. Mutual funds, typically you will take your money to the fund manager, But in exchange traded funds, you go to the exchange and buy the fund. In like manner, exchange traded funds will invest the monies collected from investors into specified basket of investments. So specified baskets of shares. They can decide to invest in only 5 stocks, or decide to invest in technology stocks, or just they can track an index. So what that means is that they can decide to invest in a pool of assets maintained by that the ETF, the exchange traded fund, speaks to. Those are some of the common investment vehicles. This slide just speaks to, the prior slide speaks to the avenues for investing, which I've addressed. Now, benefits of investing. There are sources of raising additional income for the investors. So you've been keeping your money with your parents, you've been keeping your money in savings accounts, but guess what? By the time you start investing in any of the common investment vehicles I mentioned earlier, you then have opportunities for creating wealth and raising additional income, or even generating more money in simple terms. Then you use it to finance your dreams or aspirations or projects that you're interested in. So say you want to buy a car in 5 years' time, or you want to own a house in 10 years' time, you can start saving your monies and investing them so that they can generate the asset towards the targets you're trying to meet. It means that the difference between savings and investment is that in savings, you accumulating funds. In investments, you are applying the savings that you've accumulated, and thereby accelerating the growth of those savings over the next couple of years or over a period of time. Then then you use investments as well as to protect yourself in case of financial crisis. So at the point you have unexpected financial needs, then you can dip your money into you can dip your hands rather into your investments and then raise funds to meet those unexpected financial needs. Beyond that, you use investments to manage inflation. Inflation will speak to the constant increase in the price of goods and services. And as these goods and services increase in price, if you keep your 100 naira in your pocket for 1 year, at the end of the year, you will still have 100 naira. But if you had invested 100 naira at the end of 1 year, you will have perhaps say 110. But guess what? What you can buy with 100 naira at the end in 1 year ago, you will not be able to buy with 100 naira today. So that means that the price of that item will potentially have moved from 100 to say 105. So if you kept your money if you just saved your money by leaving it in your pocket or in your piggy bank, what then happens is that what you can buy with 100 naira today, you will not be able to buy with 100 naira 1 year from now. However, if you had invested the money, the likelihood that you'll be able to afford that investment is higher. Then we talk about financial security. Guess what? Having a lot of investment just gives you a sense of financial security. What does that mean? It's just a feel good factor. You're just more comfortable. You're more relaxed. You are not under so much pressure as you would have been if you had no investment or savings whatsoever. And those are the benefits of investing. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat and we will respond to them. We'll take questions and answers and we'll respond to them. I'll be handing over to my colleague Kofo to take you through the quiz. There's a 5-minute quiz that you'll be going through now. Remember not to leave Zoom. Remember to leave Zoom open while you take the quiz. Kofo.
Thank you so much, Segun. All right, guys, I hope you were able to take that all in and you understood most of what Segun explained to you and Yuzi and Uzo. We have a quiz now just to test your understanding of the session that just ended. I noticed from the last quiz about 50% or maybe 60% were able to take the quiz. So again, please let us know if you can. And please participate, so we know that you're with us on this taking the quiz. And we obviously want to give everybody gifts and give people prizes, so please try to participate. Like the last session is going to last 5 minutes. The link will be dropped in a box when I say so, and you'll have 5 minutes. It would open up onto the screen, a different screen. Remember not to close the Zoom session, so that you can access and you can hear my voice and you can still access the program. So please drop the link now. Set the timer. Again, if you're struggling, put it in the chat box and we'll try to see what we can do to assist. But the link has been dropped now, so your 5 minute starts now. As I said, let us know if you have any challenges with accessing the quiz. We are keen to give out prizes, please, so please participate. I'll let you know when you have 1 minute left. Hey guys, please click on the link. Let's get more participation on the quiz, please. So please click on the link. We can see people that are participating and people that are not. So please click on the link and try to participate. Okay. So guys, we're getting to 1 minute. So I hope you're all participating. Looking forward to, we'll collate all answers afterwards. I know some of you, please try the link again and refresh. A lot of you are participating, but I think some of you just check your internet connection. You have 30 seconds left. Guys, the link works, so please just check your internet connection. Okay, thank you guys. The time is done. Time is up. I hope most of you were able to access the quiz. I know some of you mentioned your internet, you couldn't access the link, but the link does work. So it must have been perhaps your internet connection, but I hope most of you were able to access the link. We're going to move into the next session quickly. As you can see, time is almost up. We still have a bit to do, but we'll move quickly. We're gonna stretch our legs and just take a little break, just hoping that, you know, you're not overwhelmed with all the information, but I think it's been okay. I'm gonna introduce my colleague, Kelechi, who's gonna come and just engage you a little bit. Please participate. Yeah, just be relaxed, but just participate, please. Thank you. Kelechi, are you available?
Okay.
All right. Hi. Okay, so over to you, Kelechi.
Thank you, Kofo. Hello, everyone.
I think we should be able to see everyone participating.
Please turn on your videos.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let me stop sharing so we can see everybody. Great.
Okay. So please, can everyone turn on their videos? It's time to stretch and play. Thank you. I can see Hefziba. Thank you, Hefziba. But I can't see your face, Hefziba. I can just see your head. Okay. Hello, Hefziba. Okay, I can see Ogene Brume. Hi. Okay, can we have more people turn up your videos? So we've been sitting for the last 1 hour, so we're going to play a very exciting game right now. And guess what? There's a very, very, very big prize for the winner. So I need everyone to be on top of their game. Everyone needs to be on top of their game. Stretch your hands, stretch your legs, because you're going to be moving around the house. So I'm waiting for more people to turn on their videos so we can start. I'll give you the instructions for the game and then we'll start immediately. Okay, I can see Angela, I can see Naomi, hi. Okay, so very quickly, we're going to be playing a game and it's called the Scavenger Hunt game. So I'm going to be giving you the instructions for the game. Please listen very carefully. So number 1, please, you're not allowed to move from your seat until after my countdown. Then secondly, you're going to move around the house to search for 5 items. So I'm going to be listing the items now. Please pick up your pen and your notepad so you can jot down the items. And then you move around the house to find the items. So the first person to get all 5 items needs to come back to their seats and display on the screen. Are we together? Did everyone get my instructions?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to be calling out the items now. Item 1, you need to look for something that can be used to eat. Something that can be used to eat. Item 2, something that makes bubbles. Something that makes bubbles. Item 3 is something that keeps your teeth clean. Something that keeps your teeth clean, item 3. Item 4 is something that keeps the doors locked. Something that keeps the doors locked. And the last item is something that protects you from contacting a virus. Please, no one's allowed to move yet until after my countdown. So I'll take the items all over again. Item 1, something that can be used to eat. Item 2, an item that makes bubbles. Item 3, something that keeps your teeth clean. Item 4 is something that keeps the doors locked. Item 5 is something that protects you from contacting the virus. So your time starts now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hold on, guys. Remember, there's a prize for the winner. And you need to have all 5 items ready. Not 1, not 2. You need to have all 5 items. You have only 1 item. You're supposed to have.
I have. Look.
You have only 1 item. I need to see all 5 items.
Look at them. I'm showing them.
You have. Okay, I can see NATO on the Saho. So we have 3 minutes more.
I have my 5.
Okay, so I know Osaho.
I have my 5.
Osaho, Neto, Chukwu, Yahaya, the top 3 people.
I was number 1 by the way.
I have my items though.
Okay.
I have my items.
I was
So
number
we have
1.
2 minutes more.
No, I was number 1. Oh,
Hold on, everyone. Don't worry, we're going to go through all the items. I was observing, so I know it's Neto Chukwu, it's Yahaya, Osaho.
Naomi is also here. I've just been
1 minute more. 1 minute more. 1 minute more.
What's the prize? By any chance, can you tell us?
I have mine too.
Okay.
All right, you find out.
Don't worry, I got it.
Don't worry, you get to find out what the prize is. We have 30 seconds
I'm smart.
more. I'm trying to wait for every other person. Please turn on your video so I can see you as well.
Create bubbles.
Okay, so time up. So I'll start with Neto Chukwu.
Yeah.
Hi, Neto Chukwu.
Hi.
So do you have all 5 items?
Yes.
Okay, so can I see them?
So
the first one, an item used for eating. What's that?
A fork.
Good. So the second one, an item that makes bubbles.
So
good. The third, an item that keeps your teeth clean.
Toothpaste.
Fantastic. An item that keeps the doors locked. The fourth item.
Yes.
Good. And the last one, an item that protects you from contacting the virus.
Nice.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Neto Chukwu. Well done. I'll move on now to Osaho. Osaho, are you ready for us?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, good. Osaho, do you have the 5 items ready?
Yes, I do.
So the first one, an item used for eating. What do you have?
Fork.
Good. Second, an item that makes bubbles.
Half soap.
Good. Third, an item that keeps your teeth clean.
Have a brush.
Fantastic. An item that keeps the doors locked.
Keys.
Good. And the last, an item that protects you from contacting the virus. Wow. Fantastic. Well done, Osaho. Nice one. Well done. So the last person would be Yahaya. Hello, Yahaya. Are you with us? Okay, we can hear you. I think you need to mute your mic. Hello? Hello? Oh, okay. Hello, Yahaya. Can you hear me? Okay, can we see the items, Yahaya? Can we see all items? Do you have all 5 items? Okay, so you can just nod your head because we can't hear you. Okay, so can you show us the items, Yahaya? Let's just see the items. The first one, an item used for eating. We can't see that. Can you lift it up? Oh, that's a knife. Wow. That's a really big knife, Yahaya. Yahaya, you can't use that knife to eat though, because it's really big. But anyway, well done. The second item, and something that makes bubbles. Good. You have liquid soap. That's nice. The third item, something that keeps your teeth clean. Is that a toothbrush? Oh, it's in the case. Good. Then the fourth, something that keeps the doors locked. The fourth item, okay, a key. Good. Then the last one, something that protects you from contacting the virus. Wonderful. Awesome. Well done, Yahaya. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. So we'll be reaching out to our top 3 winners after the event. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kelechi. And guys, thank you so much for participating. If you want to turn off your cameras now, we'll go back into the next session. The top 3, thank you. You'll be getting prizes. We've noted your names and you'll be getting prizes. Remember, even with the quizzes we've taken, the first one, second, we're going to collate and see who top 3, and everyone top 3 would also be getting prizes. So thank you for participating so far. So I'm going to hand you over to my colleague, Segun, who is going to take you through the last teaching session. And yes, so remember all your questions. I hope you've been sending them into the chat box. We would address those questions right after his last segment. So don't worry, ask him all the questions you need. Thank you. Segun, please, can we have you back?
All right, thanks, Kofo. Guys, I was watching the last teaser, and also I was super impressed with the turnaround time. I think you were back in less than 2 minutes. It's as if you raced through all of the rooms where you had to get all of those items. Nice one. Okay, so in this session, we'll be talking about financial market participants and the attitude for wealth creation. In the prior session, we talked about financial market products. We talked about the financial market. We talked about what the financial market is all about, a venue for trading, for buying and selling financial market products. But in that session, we did not talk about the market participants, which includes market intermediaries as well. Now, intermediaries, first of all, will speak to or will mean the parties that act on behalf of other parties. So I give you an instance. If you go to our traditional market, and some of you that might have gone to a spare parts market in, say, Ladipo, which I doubt any of you have been to, but in case you have, you most likely would have come across some so-called agents that help you, that take you to different stores where you can find one item or the other. And even in some instances, they can help you to negotiate for the item you're willing to buy from the seller. Those will be your typical intermediaries in those markets. But in the financial market, there are intermediaries or entities that have been licensed to participate in the market. And those will include banks, brokers, and issuing houses. But let's take each of them one after the other, and then we'll talk about their role and the activities of each entity or each player in the market. So let's start from the regulators. In every market, there are rules. In every market, there are do's and don'ts to ensure the sanctity of the market, to ensure that the market is safe, it is fair, to all the players and there are no malpractices or investors are not taking advantage of without recourse. So we have participants we call regulators. These are the umpires of the market. They come into the market and ensure that the market is fair. They come into the market to ensure they supervise the market and ensure the rules of the market are adhered to. And from time to time, if there are parties that are taking advantage of other participants, those parties are sanctioned or totally expelled from the market altogether. So we've had that in the past, and we still have that today, whereby regulators ensure that any erring participant in the market is penalized or outrightly banned from the market. The regulators in the Nigerian financial market will include the Securities and Exchange Commission. The Securities and Exchange Commission is responsible for the Nigerian capital markets, where equities, bonds, all those instruments that have tenors longer than 1 year will be under the purview of the Securities and Exchange Commission. We also have the other regulators like the Central Bank that is responsible for banks, ensuring that banks adhere to the rules of the banking industry. We also have the other regulators, indirect regulators in the financial markets in some form, like the National Pension Commission, PENCOM, that is responsible for the activities of the pension managers. Beyond that, beyond that, we'll have other entities. We'll have exchanges. Exchanges are platforms where securities are traded, where financial market products are traded. Such exchanges in Nigeria will include the FMDQ Securities Exchange. On other platforms or other jurisdictions, in South Africa, for instance, you have the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. In the US, you have ICE, NYSE, the ICE New York Stock Exchange. In the UK, you have the London Securities Exchange. These are platforms that ensure the secondary market and primary market aspects of raising capital or raising funds or money are well maintained, and the integrity of the market is ensured at all times. Then you have banks or dealers. These banks are typically participants on exchanges or on trading venues where financial market transactions are traded. An individual will typically not go to trade on the exchange, but rather will go through a bank or a dealer to trade on the exchange. So for instance, if you want to buy equities in Nigeria, you will typically look for a stockbroker. If you want to buy bonds, you will typically look for a dealing member bank. If you want to buy treasury bills as well, you typically look for a dealing member or a dealing member to take your mandate and then sell the instrument to you, or take your mandate and buy the instrument for you. Then we have who we call brokers as well. Brokers are similar to dealers. Brokers will act on your behalf. They'll go to the platform to buy on your behalf or sell on your behalf. Then we have investors as well. Investors will entail you and I, corporate entities and other market participants that are actually parting with cash or receiving cash in the market, either buying or selling instruments in the market. Then we have who we call issuing houses. Issuing houses will speak to entities that will help you package your request for money. So I take that again. So in my example where I talked about raising funds for my car wash business, you will imagine that if I'm going to approach everybody on this call, I will tell you about, I want to raise money for this car wash business. I'll tell you what the business is about. I'll tell you what are my plans to market the business. I'll tell you what are my plans to grow the business and generate income such that I can pay you back if I'm going to borrow from you, or if I'm asking you to invest in the company as an equity or shareholder, then I will explain to you how the company will make money such that we can pay you dividends and the company will grow. Now, you will agree with me that I just know how to wash cars. I may not necessarily know how to speak to investors in a way that will convince them to part with their money. So that is where issuing houses come to play. They know the rules in the market, they know the laws, they know the do's and don'ts that the regulators have set out in the market. They also understand how investors think and how investors perceive the market. And they also maintain a long list of potential investors in the market. So whenever an issuing house, a borrower wants to raise capital or raise funds, it is preferred that you approach the issuing house that will then document that will then prepare the entire investment case, the entire investment case, and present it to the potential investors for consideration, and also to the regulators to ensure that it meets the rules that have been set out by the regulators. So it's a hard and rigorous process. They typically will come up with documents in excess of 100 pages, and that will be presented to the regulators, to investors, giving a full detail of the company, the product that they sell, or the service they are going to be providing, when the company was incorporated, who are the existing shareholders, what is the pedigree of the directors, what are the rules, in what market segment they will be playing, what are the rules that affect that particular investment or the kind of funds they are soliciting. They go a long way to provide different details or information to the prospective investors and as well to the regulators, because regulators need to approve any request for money from the public. Then we have who we call issuers. In my example, I will be an issuer because I will then be raising, because I'm issuing money, I'm issuing instruments in exchange for funds. So I'll be issuing a bond if I'm going to borrow money that is longer than 1 year, or I'll be issuing a commercial paper if I'm going to be raising money that is less than 1 year, or a promissory note if it's going to be less than 1 year. That's if it's going to be a debt instrument. But if it's going to be equities, then I'll be issuing shares to the new shareholders. So the issuer largely is that party that has cash resources and is looking for funds in the financial market. So these are the major players in the market. And we have other players that participate in this market, but these are the core players in the financial market. Then we'll go into avenues for wealth creation and the attitude for wealth creation. Now, we start this by saying money doesn't grow on trees. You need to work for money, and you need to invest well and invest smartly. Now, what does that mean? You need to know why you are investing, and that is what goal setting is speaking to. You need to set very smart goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, and they can be quantified. You need to invest your money in a way that generates income for you and is sustainable. So you do not just save towards meeting that goal, you invest your money as well. And when you're investing, you invest in assets that meet your risk criteria. So I give you an example. You can invest your money in shares, and then the value of those shares decline, and then you lose money. So it's important that you understand the investment vehicle you want to invest in. And that is why for beginners, you are typically encouraged to start with investing in debt instruments, lending your money to someone so that you then get paid interest income. That way you can protect yourself. Most fixed income instruments do not lose value if you hold them to maturity. So if you hold them from the day you part with them, the day the instrument is issued until the maturity date of that debt. In the example between Sarah and Chukwuemeka, I said that would mean rather that Chukwuemeka does not sell the instrument that Sarah has given him until the day the loan matures. So that means that from the day, so let's say for instance, you give your money 100 naira to Sarah, it means that from the day you give your money to Sarah till the day, till the expiration of the 9 months period, you do not go and you do not sell that instrument in the market. So you don't sell that instrument to Tolu Alashe. So that means that if you try to sell the instrument to Tolu Alashe, you can potentially lose money because Tolu Alashe might decide to pay you, say, 98 naira because you are desperate for money. But if you hold it till maturity, then it means that maturity Sarah will give you your 100 naira plus the interest that she has promised you, say 10 naira. Then you practice the act of budgeting. So you need to constantly monitor what you will need money for and plan for them, and budget a portion of your income or your savings for those needs. And then you continuously pursue learning and understanding of the financial markets and the products that are available to you, so that you can then grow your investment portfolio, or you grow the products you've invested in. So that is why it's important that you start small. And I'll be challenging you today to speak to your parents, your guardian, as to what product or instruments your savings have been invested in. Typically, it's recommended you start with investing in a money market mutual fund. And the reason is that you have a professional that is managing the mutual fund that understands the market, understands your needs, understands the products that are being invested in, and can monitor that investment on a daily basis. That is all that they do. They monitor that investment on a daily basis, and they're also under the governance of the regulators. They submit themselves to the rules set by the regulators and will not go against the rules set by the regulators. And again, the Securities and Exchange Commission supervises.
We need this movie because they didn't give us
the regulator supervises.
Didn't give us the refreshments. Which refreshments?
The regulator supervises these respective mutual funds managers from time to time. Yeah. So that is it. Those are the attitudes for wealth creation that is recommended that you adopt. And I'll be handing over to my colleague, Kofo, to, or first of all, before we go into that, I'll be taking questions and answers. I'll be taking questions and answers. Okay. But before we go into that, please, my colleague Kofo will quickly take a minute with you guys, then we go into questions and answers.
It's okay, Segun, you can just carry on with Q&A for now. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so we go ahead with the questions and answers that have been provided so far, particularly questions. Are there questions in the chat room? Okay. Okay, one question that came earlier was about why you would put your money in a current account rather than a savings account. Please clarify the question if that is not what you're speaking to. I think the question came from who? Okay, someone dropped in the chat box that why would you keep your money in a current account rather than a savings account? Now, there are benefits to having a current account. Typically in the past, what you have was that you can issue checks to a third party. So if I want to give you money, I can give you a check and you can tender that check on the date on the value date on the check and collect money anywhere in Nigeria. And that is the benefits for corporate entities, for individuals, rather than give you cash, then you can easily, and these were back in the days when we did not really have internet banking as we have today. So of late, the benefits of a checking account is very muted. Corporate entities are typically only allowed to maintain current accounts, but individuals can have either current or savings. Now, if you have a current account, it means if someone comes to provide a service to you in your house, rather than go to the bank and withdraw cash and pay to that party, you can give that party a check that will be drawn on your current account. However, the need for that is muted now because there's now internet banking. So there might not be a significant need for you to maintain a current account. Instead, you can maintain a savings account and then transfer money to whichever party that you want to pay. And also you can have a debit card on the savings account so that you can swipe the card at any merchant store and make payments. So the need for current accounts for individuals is muted as of today. It's not as pronounced as it used to be because of internet banking. However, for corporate entities are only allowed to maintain current accounts. So for the purpose of business, rather. Are there any other questions? Yeah. Okay, I see there are no questions. Since you guys have no questions, then it means that you understood what we spoke about today, and I will be asking my own questions. And I'll be picking random names to ask this question. So you need to unmute your mic very quickly and respond to my question. Okay. Okay, I'll start with Chukwuemeka. Yes, I've used Chukwuemeka a lot in my examples, so I'll start with Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka, please, can you unmute your mic and respond to what are mutual funds? Tell me about mutual funds. Is Chukwuemeka there? Chukwuemeka, you are muted in the event that you're trying to speak. Hello, Chukwuemeka, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so tell me about mutual funds.
A mutual fund is an investment. I mean, it's like this thing that pulls money from a lot of investments, from a lot of investors rather.
Yeah.
To purchase securities.
Okay. So why will a mutual fund pull funds from investors?
Sorry?
No, let me ask someone else. Chukwuemeka, thanks for that. It's not the complete picture, but you've spoken to it in some form. So
yeah,
let me
ask
Feinfolua, tell me, why would you want to pull funds together from different investors? Why would a mutual fund want to pull funds together from investors? Or why will investors invest in mutual funds? What do you think? You tell me, what do you think?
Can you ask that?
Paying follower, I didn't get you.
Can you ask again? Can you ask again?
Vivian.
I didn't hear you properly.
Okay, I should take it again. All right. What I was speaking to is why will investors put their money in a mutual fund? Did you get that? Okay, I see someone answered in the chat. A mutual fund is a company that pools money from many investors and invest the money in securities. Okay, good stuff. That's fantastic. Yasmin. All right, good stuff. You're correct 100%. The mutual fund pools money from investors and invest on behalf of those investors in financial market products. The reason why you would rather give your money to a mutual fund manager to invest on your behalf is that they are professionals, they understand the market, they understand the product, they understand your needs, and they can advise you, and then they can manage the funds. This is all they do every single day, 24/7 throughout the year. So they are better positioned to manage your funds for you, pending when you've developed the capability to manage it for yourself, or better off, you just want them to manage it for you. So I have a couple of other questions here. What is the best investment option for you? Okay. I will say that the best investment option at this point and at this stage of your life will be to consider putting your money in the money market mutual fund. And the reason for it is that a money market mutual fund, you will not lose money. You are likely not to lose money because they typically invest in fixed income debt instruments where you know upfront the kind of income you will make. However, over the life of the mutual fund, the yield on that investment or the interest income on that investment will vary, and it is accrued on a daily basis. So every day you log into the platform of that fund, of that mutual fund, you will see that a small amount has been added to the value of your investment. And at any point in time, you can withdraw your funds at any point without losing capital. How can I invest in a bond? You can invest in a bond by approaching a dealing member. You can invest in a bond by approaching a dealing member of FMDQ Securities Exchange. If you go to the FMDQ Securities Exchange website, you will see the list of dealing members in Nigeria. Practically all the commercial banks in Nigeria are dealing members on the FMDQ platform. So in other words, if you speak to any of the banks you keep money with and tell them you want to buy a bond or a treasury bill, they will guide you to that process. Okay, those are the questions we'll take for now. I will hand you over to my colleague Kofo to continue the session.
Thank you so much, Segun. And I hope you guys have learned a lot from today's session. Again, if you have any questions, you can send us an email later. Maybe you didn't want to send it now, but if any of you have other questions, you can later send it to us via email. I'm going to hand over to the next session will be the groups. You'll be meeting with our group COO, Ms. Kodi Ugoji. She's very excited to meet with you guys. So yeah, and as I said, she is all about empowering the next generation on the financial market. So it's an opportunity to ask her any questions you may have, whether it's about career or anything. You can just ask her. So I'll just introduce Katie. Please, do you want to join us, Kodi?
Hi, everyone.
Stop my screen share.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, ma.
Okay,
Hi.
fantastic.
Hello.
Good, good.
Hi.
I was hoping you would all answer, so thank you for that. I'm going to start with asking how the session has been for you. Then I'm going to go with any questions that you have. So this is your time to ask me whatever questions you want to ask me, and I will try to answer those questions to the best of my ability. Deal? Is it a deal?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you very much. So who can tell me, and you can raise your hands. I'm not sure if I can see the screen when you raise your hands, but I probably will. Tell me, okay, yeah, I can see you all. Tell me what you've learned from today. Or first of all, just tell me, how has this session been for you? What were your expectations? And what was the actual session like? Who wants to bail the cat? Nobody? Wow.
Can I?
Sorry, who's speaking?
Easy.
Okay, 1 second. Let me look for you. I have a full screen on. Can you put your camera on?
Oh, my camera doesn't work properly.
Oh, it doesn't work properly. Okay. Ife, right?
Fee.
Oh, Fie. Okay, great. Tell me what your expectations were and how it has been.
I didn't like, if I'm being honest, I didn't really have like any like expectations for it because like I found out about it like just yesterday, so
wow.
I didn't really have an expectation for it, but I liked it. I liked learning about the new things.
You liked to, sorry?
I know I liked it.
You liked it. Oh, that is really good to hear. That is really good to hear. What would be your key takeaway? What would be the one thing that you remember from everything that you've learned today?
Let me think. I'm not really sure, honestly. Like, key takeaway.
Pardon?
Really, I'm not particularly sure about that. Let me think.
Yeah, just anyone. What do you think? If anyone asks you today, you say, "Oh, I remembered this from this session."
I'm not particularly sure. I haven't gotten anything.
Okay. But you enjoyed the session and you've learned things.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good job. Okay, who else wants to? Fee has bailed the cat. Who else wants to go? You know, it's always easier when the first person is done. Anyone else? Don't make me call names.
Netochukwu has her hand up. I don't know if you can see it.
I'm not sure. I can't see the raised hands button. Netochukwu, please go on. Please, Kofo, once you see any hands up, you can alert me, because for some reason I can't see all the 4 screens at the same time on my laptop. Netochukwu, please, let's go. But Netochukwu has been spoken and participated several times. Well done. So I'm going to look for people who haven't at all. But Netochukwu, let's hear you. Can you put your camera on, please?
Yeah.
Let's see you. Fantastic.
Okay. So I've learned about market participants, and I've learned that under market participant there are regulators, exchange, banks, issuers, investors, brokers, issuing houses. So I've learned under like what the market participants are. And I've also learned like the meaning of some of the market participants. Yes, that was it.
Fantastic. Netochukwu, you were taking notes, I believe. Copious notes, because I mean, your answer was very detailed. Very well done. Anybody else? One more person? Anybody else? Okay, I'm just going to call one name if no hand is up. Before, is there any hand up? If none, I'm just going to call a name. No? Angela Aluko, can we see your camera on?
Yeah, no hand is up just yet.
Yeah, Angela Aluko. Don't hide, put your camera on. Angela. Can you unmute Angela?
Okay. Second.
No? While we're waiting for Angela, I will go to Tommy Fabamibe. Tommy, don't hide. Let's see your camera on. No?
They're all very shy, apparently.
Wow. Okay. Ibilola Abudu. Come on. Show them what it is to be bold and brave, Ibilola. Okay, Ibilola is not taking my bait. Are we sure that there are participants on this call? Maybe they've all dropped off.
No, they haven't. I can see them all, actually. We have 87 of them currently.
I don't believe so. I think there's a glitch with Zoom and they've all dropped off and we can just see the icons and we think they're here, but they've actually all dropped off. Or is anyone here? See, Yasmin is trying to say something. She has an issue with her mic. She can't unmute, but the session was very insightful. She enjoyed learning about different funds, money, accounts. She also enjoyed the scavenger hunt game, yeah, which I think she was one of the winners, and the quizzes as they helped her recollect all that she learned. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Yasmin. Thank you for that. Thank you for proving that we didn't have a Zoom glitch and that there's still people on the call. Okay, so before I go, does anyone have any questions for me? Any questions? I'm not gonna make anyone ask. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat room or you can put your hands up, put your camera on and speak. Okay, Michelle, thank you very much. Michelle says she found the quizzes very useful. And even if she had zoned out during certain parts of the session, thank you for that, Michelle, for that honesty. The quizzes helped her remember and learn more. Good, so everybody's loving the quizzes. Good job. Any questions for me? Any questions whatsoever? Anything that you're curious about FMDQ? About anything. Is someone trying to speak? Oh, thank you very much, Olu. Okay, I have questions. So Oluwalana says, how many years have you been the COO of FMDQ? Oh, now the questions are pouring in. So I became the group Chief Operating Officer of FMDQ in January this year, but I have been with FMDQ almost from inception. I've been with FMDQ for over 6 years. FMDQ is going on 7 years in November, and I've been with FMDQ for about 6.5 years. But the role of the group COO is a new role. And that happened when the company reorganized from a securities exchange to an FMI group. I'm sure you were told about that, and with several subsidiaries. And then that role was brought on. So 6.5 years in FMDQ, but less than a year on the role, this particular role. Oluwatamilore says, was this your only career choice? Absolutely not. Before I joined FMDQ, I had worked in banks. I had worked in investment management, and I had worked with a popular FMCG company, Guinness Nigeria. I'm sure you all know Guinness Nigeria. I had worked with Guinness Nigeria as well. So basically, joining FMDQ was a new venture into exchanges for me. And I started with FMDQ as an exchange, and it has grown into a group. So indeed, whilst it was not my only career choice, it has been a great one for me. Thank you for that question. I have another question. Can you please explain what FMDQ is and what it does? Yasmin, I thought that's one of the things that my colleague Uzo spoke about earlier, but I will just very quickly speak to it again. FMDQ is a financial market infrastructure group. What does that mean in simple terms? When you want to conduct any transactions in the financial market, you have to go through certain processes. There's the trading process, there's the clearing process, there's the settlement process. And what it means for FMDQ, and I remember hearing them speak about a one-stop shop. What it means for FMDQ is that if you want to conduct a financial market transaction, you don't need to go far. You just come into FMDQ. You don't even need to come into FMDQ. Once you contact FMDQ, we can do everything for you end to end. And I think there was an analogy given to you at the beginning of the session, but let me even tweak it a bit. So you know that breakfast that you were going to make, and you had to go into the supermarket to buy things. You will just say you're going to buy bread, you're going to buy some eggs, and you're going to buy butter. If you went into a supermarket and they say, oh, I only have bread, you have to go to another supermarket down several streets or in another part of Lagos to buy the eggs. Then you finish buying the bread, you go there, you buy the eggs. Then they tell you, oh, for the butter, you have to go somewhere else to buy the butter. Then you buy the butter, and then you have to go home to put all of that together to make your sandwich. What FMDQ has done is created a platform where you can come in, you can get your bread, your butter, your eggs, and your mini kitchen to make your sandwich without having to take a step out. So all the time you would have had to be driving to different places or engaging different people to do this one transaction, everything is done under one roof. And so of course it makes things somewhat cheaper for those that are doing those transactions. That is what FMDQ has done. It has brought the trading part of the financial market transactions through the securities exchange. It has brought the clearing through the clearing house, FMDQ Clear, and it has brought settlement and depository services through the FMDQ depository, where after all your transactions are completed, they can hold your securities. So the depository is like a bank where you keep your money. The depository is a bank where you keep securities, pretty much. The next question, I'll take the comments, but I'll just finish the questions quickly so that, because I know we're behind schedule. I think the next question was, can't scroll down. Is FMDQ a private business, or is FMDQ also assisted by the government? FMDQ is a private business. It's a public liability company, but it is owned by a specific group of people. It is companies. It is owned by the banks. It is owned, also part owned by the Central Bank of Nigeria and other companies, one or two other companies or institutions. So indeed, it's a private it's not a government-assisted company. It's a private company in that regard. I think I skipped 2 questions before that. How has FMDQ helped people during the COVID-19 period? Netochukwu, fantastic question, because we have to be very conscious of the times we're in, and FMDQ should not, and no company should ignore what is happening now without helping others. And FMDQ has helped quite a lot in this area. And I'll tell you a few of the things that we've done. FMDQ partnered with Lagos State to get, Lagos State has this drive to get 1 million students in public schools, because they're not as privileged to get virtual or remote learning at home. Probably they can't afford tablets in public schools. Some public schools can't afford tablets. They can't afford internet data and all of that. So FMDQ partnered with Lagos State and donated 7,000 tablets to the public schools, so that your fellow students in public schools can continue to learn from whilst they're at home during the COVID shutdown. And even beyond COVID, even when everyone goes back to school and life is somewhat normal, they would still use it to do their homework at home and just interact at home. So these tablets already come preloaded with the Lagos State curriculum, so they don't need to download anything. They can just go in all the time and they would see their lecture notes and their homework and everything that they need to do. So FMDQ has contributed 7,000 of these tablets towards helping support this. Another thing that we have done, I'm sure they told you about the regulators, and the Securities and Exchange Commission is one of our regulators. And FMDQ also contributed to a fund that the Securities and Exchange Commission was raising towards helping people with COVID. And that fund has bought ambulances for states, for the hospitals to help convey, or for the isolation centers to help convey COVID patients. It has bought food, palliatives, masks, oxygen for those who are ill and who need respiratory support, and all of that. We've done that. FMDQ has also done masks for us to help the less privileged to get, to prevent themselves from the disease, from the virus as well. So those are some of the things that FMDQ has done so far, and we're still doing more. And thank you for that very sensitive question. Toby, what made you want to join FMDQ? Toby, that's a very interesting question. Like I said, I joined FMDQ barely 6 months into when it was incorporated. It was a very new company. I'm not even sure that we knew what it was doing or anything, but I think the challenge for me was the fact that FMDQ seemed to have a strong desire to support the Nigerian financial market, to develop it and to develop the economy. And for me, that was a noble cause. I thought, oh, if I join them and I'm able to contribute my quota, that means I'm contributing indirectly to the economy. And that made me feel very good. So I thought I'll join FMDQ and help build this institution that can help Nigeria in the future. So that's why I joined FMDQ. And that's why I've been here for 6.5 years. I think those are all the questions. That is insightful with FMDQ. Everything is done under one roof. Indeed, Yasmin, that is very, very one of the great things about FMDQ, because it just makes life easier for the participants. Is FMDQ registered with CBN? No, FMDQ is not a bank, so it's not registered with CBN, but we do have very close ties with the CBN, because some of the securities and the instruments that Shegu spoke to you about are regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And also our dealing members, who are the banks, are registered also by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So we have a close relationship, but we're not registered by the Central Bank. I believe I have taken all the questions. Thank you so much. For people who were very quiet and I thought this was a glitch, you've proved me wrong. and you have been very participative. Thank you very much. I hope you had a great session, and I hope we see you again maybe when we're able to host, FMDQ Next is able to host you all at our offices. Maybe next year's summer camp, fingers crossed. But we will be keeping in touch with you. We have you in our database, and we'll let you know whenever we have any programs that we think will be of interest to you. And I hope to see you all then. Take care, and thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you very much, Khadi.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
In Crimson.
I like how all the thank yous are coming. At least you know they're all here, or some of them, or most of them, hopefully.
Most of them are here.
Yeah,
Most of them are here.
Thank you. We're just going to wrap up, guys. So thank you so much for taking part in today's program.
Thank you.
Sorry, I think we have one more thing to do before we wrap up.
Yeah, because I think some of them are leaving already. So we just want to let them know.
Catch some of you. If we can please put our videos up, our cameras up. Please, we'd like to get a picture of everyone, please. Please, can you oblige us? Just put your cameras on and take your best pose so that we can get a good picture.
It's going to be, we want
to go.
Yeah.
Can we see you? See your beautiful faces. Thank you, Saho. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone on. Take your best poses, fun pictures. Don't just sit still. Let's do something fun, guys.
Fun picture, eh?
Fun picture. Come on, don't be boring, guys. Fun picture. I can see I see smiles. I see someone in his mask, Osaho, right?
It's the usual suspects that actually have their cameras on. So thank you guys for you know.
Thank you, but that's fine. Let's just get a picture with those that we can get. Great picture, fun picture. Okay, someone is upside down. Was that part of the fun picture? Okay, let's get the picture. Fiolu, I see you partly. Fiolua, I see you partly. Okay, let's get the picture whilst we can, before Saho's hands begin to pain him because he's been raising his hands in nice poses. I hope we're catching all of those. Good, good, good stuff. So tell us when you're ready. Sarah, I see you.
Okay. So guys, so in 3, 2, 1, I'll do a countdown and then we can just pose and we'll take the snapshot. Yeah. So 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Guys, bye everyone.
Bye. So, guys, bear in mind, we will be sending your certificates.
And Kofo will take over, yeah.
Okay. We would, because some of them are leaving, so I just want to get the message out quickly. Thank you so much for participating in today's event. We'll be sending your quiz results, and the winners would also be getting information on your gifts and how you're going to get your gifts. Thank you once again. We'll be sending your certificates also via email, so you will get that. And we look forward to hosting you very soon in the future. So take care and be safe, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
Thank you for the event. Very eventful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.